Hey guys, this is Earl Dixon, and I'm a member of the Eagle program. And I invite you to look at this video presentation and make a decision on whether or not you too will be able to become your own bank and create generational wealth for you and your family. So pay attention to the information and get back with the person who shared the video with you, or call me directly at 919-530-8022. Thank you.
Dixon Bitcoin, man. And tonight, I want to share a wonderful program with you that's hot off the press, right? Literally, this program will allow you to take $2,000 and turn it into $1 million within days. Money don't move without people. When we come together and we share information, right, we can really change the world. Name of the program is the Eagle Program, okay? And learn how to earn while you learn. Learn how to earn while you learn. How this works. This is a forced matrix and will push every literacy purchaser through at unbelievable speed. The only working tier is the first tier. You immediately tag 1 or 2 partners right away, earn 4 entries, pushes every 4 entries, pushes every qualified Eagle through these tiers. Let's go to the tiers right quick. Okay, first, before we do that, let's do this right. Let's do this before, okay, we go into that, right? Because some of you guys have been through some stuff. Let's look at the tiers. I'm going to go ahead and go through this very quickly. Tier 1, $2,000 in Bitcoin, right? Right. The person who introduced me to this program started me with Bitcoin. People know me as a Bitcoin man. Started me with Bitcoin in 2008, and we were sending hundreds of and thousands of dollars using a wallet called Mt. Gox. What we did not know is that Bitcoin would hit $60,000 a coin. So we sent money and we cashed out. If we had left some of that money in Bitcoin, we would have hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars if we had known. But now we know, right? Because the price of Bitcoin is $20,000. It's predicted that in 2024, in 2023, in the end of 2023, Bitcoin will be $100,000 a coin. By the end of 2024, when Bitcoin half again, it's going to exceed the asset class of gold, and it's going to $1 million a coin. By 2029, I'm going to show you this in a few minutes. By 2029, Bitcoin will literally be 10 million a coin. And let me tell you something. You have a chance to come in here with this program with $2,000 to earn this kind of money. Let's go through it. Tier 1, $2,000, right? And you bring in one person, your person bring in one person, your person bring in one person, everybody bring in one person. You're going to turn 2,000 to 8,000. You keep 3 for yourself. That's your re-up money, right? Your seed money plus $1,000 profit. Then you take 5,000 upgraded to Tier 2. When you go to Tier 2, right? 4 people that you shared will upgrade behind you, and your 5,000 will turn into 20,000. At that point, you keep 5,000, you upgrade with 15,000 on Tier 3, you're going to get $60,000. Out of $60,000, you're going to keep $10,000. That's your money, right? You're going to upgrade with 50,000, go to Tier 4. As 4 people upgrade behind you, which they will, like-minded people, we're Eagle soaring. So your video in a minute is going to blow your mind. Okay? I don't care what you've been through, you're now an Eagle. Only come if you have equal mentality. We don't fly with buzzards, we don't fly with chickens. We are Eagles. Now, on level 4, $50,000, 4 people upgrade, you get $200,000. You keep $50,000. Now you started with $2,000. Now you're already in profit, $48,000. Now you upgrade out of your $200,000 with $150,000. 4 people gonna upgrade, gonna give you $600,000, right? Now, out of that $600,000, keep $100,000 for yourself. You upgrade with $500,000, right? And now you're going to receive $1 million, okay, on this level. No joke. Truly amazing program. I want to share a video with you guys. Pay attention. Yeah, so if you're going to make the kind of money that we're making on this private community, you can only get here through private invitation. Watch this video. Be back with you in a minute. I'm going to show you one more video and we'll be out of here. I'm going to show you the future prediction of Bitcoin, not guesswork, where it's going to be. This program can get you free, okay? All right, so watch this video now.
Don't be a parrot in life. A parrot talks way too much, but can't fly high. But an eagle is silent. and has the willpower to touch the sky. Here's the 7 mentalities that we can learn from an eagle. Number 1, eagles fly alone at high altitude. Eagles don't fly with sparrows, ravens, and other small birds, meaning stay away from narrow-minded people, those that bring you down. Eagles fly with eagles. There's a saying that goes like this: people you hang around will eventually determine the person you become. Keep good company. Number 2, eagles have vision. They have the ability to focus on something as far as 5 kilometers away. No matter what the obstacles, the eagle will not move his focus from the prey until he grabs it, meaning have a vision.
Over there.
Eagles have vision. They have the ability to focus on something as far as 5 kilometers away. No matter what the obstacles, the eagle will not move his focus from the prey until he grabs it, meaning have a vision and remain focused in your life. No matter what the obstacles and challenges you may face, don't give up and you will succeed. Number 3, eagles are fearless. An eagle will never surrender to the size or strength of its prey. It will always give a fight to win its prey or regain its territory, meaning no matter what the size or big your problems are, don't give up. Instead, face it. Successful people are fearless. They face problems head on.
You ever heard that scared money don't make no money? Guys, we're moving money, we're just not moving back in our community. Eagles are tenacious. Watch this right here. They're totally fearless. Watch this.
Number 4, eagles are tenacious. Eagles love storm. When clouds gather, the eagles get excited. The eagles use the storm wind to lift themselves higher. Once it finds the wind of the storm, the eagles use the raging storm to lift itself above the clouds.
So you are an eagle if you become a part of this program. Eagles lift themselves above the clouds. They ride off the energy. Now watch this. Because you got to determine whether you're going to be an eagle or a chicken.
This gives the eagle the opportunity to glide and rest its wings. In the meantime, all the other birds hide in the branches and leaves of the tree, meaning achievers are not afraid of challenges. Rather, they relish in them and use them for profitability. Number 5, eagles never eat dead things. Eagles never eat dead meat. In other words, an eagle does not scavenge. It only eats the meat from the prey it kills itself. Meaning, do not rely on your past success. Keep looking for new frontiers to conquer. Leave your past where it belongs, in the past.
Now, no difference where you been. Leave it in the past, because here we are, eagles, and we're all flying high. And we go through storms. You've been through some storms. Don't let it deter you. If you ever want to get free financially, our Eagle program is the way. Pay attention.
Number 6, eagles prepare for training. They remove the feather and the soft grass in the nest so that the young ones get uncomfortable in preparation for flying. And eventually, they fly when it becomes too unbearable to stay in the nest. Meaning, leave your comfort zone.
See, we're going to provide training that's going to help you fly above the rest, right? You got to leave your comfort zone. Get this training, come to our Zooms, and share it with one person, and you shall be free.
There is no growth there. Last but not least, number 7, Eagles possess vitality. When the eagle grows old, his feathers become weak and cannot take him as fast and as high as it should. This makes him weak and could make him die, so he retires to a place far away in the mountains. And while there, he plucks out the weak feathers in his body and breaks his beak and his claws against the rocks until he is completely bare. A very bloody and painful process. Then he stays in his hiding place until he has grown new feathers.
That's what we got to do. We got to grow some new feathers, right? We got to get rid of the old friends, old colleagues, and grow a new skin, right? And watch what happens when you do. Here we go.
New beaks and claws, and then comes out flying higher than ever before. Meaning, we occasionally need to shed off old habits, no matter how difficult. Things that burden us or add no value to our lives should be let go of. Thanks for watching this video.
All right, guys, as you see, we are eagles flying high, right? And there's no time for no plan. If you want to be a part of this private community, let's go back over and watch this again. If you're going to take $2,000, watch this again. If you're going to take $2,000 and leverage it to $1 million, this is how you do it. You simply come together in our private, by invitation only community, right? Right? Using a force matrix, and we'll push every literacy purchaser at unbelievable speed to leverage $2,000 one time out your pocket to $1 million. Tier 1, turn 2,000 into 8,000, keep 3,000. For 5,000, then go to tier 2. 4 people follow you, sharing it with one person, we share it with one person. As you go through these tiers, 5,000 become 20,000. Keep 5,000 for yourself and leverage 15,000. Tier 3, $60,000. $60,000, you keep 10,000 and you leverage to tier 4. $50,000, 4 people follow you to upgrade, they will. Got to be an eagle. Got to be an eagle. Got to be eagle classification. $200,000, you keep 50, you upgrade with $150,000. $150,000 becomes $600,000. Okay, at that point, you keep 100,000, you upgrade to level tier 5, right? And on tier 5, it's history. You upgrade with that 100,000, right? You're gonna get $500,000 from 4 people. $500,000 from 4 people will give you $1 million. 4 times 500,000 equals $1 million. Guys, referral fees will be issued upon qualification. Hey guys, it's Earl Dixon, the Bitcoin man. And tonight I want to share something with you. You've seen the first part of the presentation where the Eagle team, we have a platform where you can leverage $2,000 up to $1 million, no joke. Now, we're using Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been life-changing for me and my family. I was introduced by the guy doing the presentation, Robert Presley, the guy who introduced me to this program, to Bitcoin, when Bitcoin was 8 cents a coin. The first digital wallet ever called Mt. Gox. We were sending and receiving payments through a program called the Private Economy years ago. And we were sending Bitcoin, thousands of Bitcoins. Private Economy years ago. And we were sending Bitcoin, thousands of Bitcoins, but we didn't know what we had. Now, fast forward to today. There are billionaires who are investing in Bitcoin and is hedging their money into Bitcoin because of inflation. I'm going to introduce you to a video of a guy who held over $350 million worth of investment capital for his funding for his investment group. He let all that go when he found out about Bitcoin and started to only support blockchain-backed companies as a venture capitalist. I'm going to let him tell you his story and why he went all in with Bitcoin. Then I'm going to take you over and let you see how you're going to use a algorithm to show you the future prediction of what Bitcoin is going to be. See, billionaires don't guess at the future of asset classes. They have formulas called stock to flow analysis that they use that's 95% accurate to predict the future of asset classes. Bitcoin is projected to exceed gold by 2029. Bitcoin going to be at $100,000 by the end of 23 when it splits and have another fork. It's called Bitcoin halving. In 2024, Bitcoin is going to see $1 million a coin. Then from 2024 to 20, and it's going to exceed the assets closed class of gold in 2024 when Bitcoin have its next halving. And then fast forward to 2029, at that point, Bitcoin will be $1 million a coin. By 2029, Bitcoin should be 10 million a coin. Now you heard it from me, but listen to these millionaires tell you. Okay, so this video that I'm doing for you guys is to help you to understand why you need to get your hands, take $2,000 out your pocket and get this $1 million, because billionaires is doing it. Now, I'm going to show you 2 videos. We're going to start with this first one, because this is educational training. You know, our number one focus is financial literacy. It's not just about you getting money, but what you're going to do with it. How do you build wealth? Some people out here working for money. We're going to teach you how money is supposed to work for you. Listen to these billionaires, right? I understand why you need to get in now and get some of this Bitcoin. So guys, so this guy right here held $350 million worth of investment capital for his investment group. He sold everything. Now, I'm going to open up this video with a clip, and then I'm going to let you get to know this guy and why he's going to say what he's saying right now. So listen to what he's telling you, because we're trying to show you how to get your hands on this Bitcoin. Okay? We missed out, but you don't have to miss out again. $2,000 will make you $1 million. Pay attention to what he's going to tell you now.
True. I believe that, one Bitcoin's going to be worth $10 million in 8 years. And, if you're paying less than $10 million of Bitcoin, you're getting a good value. And if
now, you hear that? Now, I'm going to take you so you'll know who this guy is, so you understand why he said what he said, okay? Now, pay attention to this. Hold
on. Brian Estes, Off the Chain Capital. Always a pleasure to have you back on Real Vision.
Thank you for having me, Ash.
Brian, it's always so much fun to have you on, especially looking forward to this conversation where we talk through Bitcoin valuation, and I think even more broadly than that, your thought process about technology, about markets, and about the way that valuation gets done in general.
Yeah, no, it's been a very interesting space to be in over the last 7 years, and it's fun to see all the traditional asset managers finally starting to pay attention to what's going on. So it's starting to get really exciting.
For a little bit of context, let's talk a little bit about your background and how you got invested and interested in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. So I started off in traditional finance when I was 22 years old. Started with a company called A.G. Edwards & Sons in St. Louis as a stockbroker. I was doing the retail stuff for a couple of years, and then I picked up a few institutional clients, and I started focusing all my efforts on being an institutional equity broker. So I was there for 14 years. I left in 2004. I was a senior vice president when I left, and started my own registered investment advisory firm in 2004. And basically, I just cherry-picked my top clients and was managing money for them for about 10 years as an RIA. And basically, they were endowments and foundations in the St. Louis area. So I was their outsourced CIO for 7 endowments and foundations, managing about $350 million for them. And then in 2014, I learned about Bitcoin. I saw Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss on CNBC being interviewed by Andrew Ross Sorkin when Bitcoin was around $100. And coming from the traditional finance world, I just thought it was a total scam. I didn't understand what Bitcoin was. I just thought it was this internet funny money. I just didn't comprehend what it was. And it took me a good 6 months to figure it out. And after I figured out what Bitcoin was, which is basically just open source internet protocol software that allows us to transfer value peer-to-peer through the internet without having a third party clear that transaction. It just, like a light bulb clicked on, and it's like, I just understood how we were going to rebuild our entire financial system on blockchain technology. And so I convinced my wife into allowing me to sell my practice. And I sold my RIA and became a venture capitalist in the blockchain space. And, I had no idea what, a venture capitalist does, but, that's, kind of, how I got started back in 2014. And then just, got involved and, helped start building and financing and mentoring blockchain companies. And that's what I've done for the last 7 years.
Yeah. It's so interesting to me because you mentioned getting started in Bitcoin in 2014. But as you mentioned earlier, the journey begins 30 years ago in terms of how you think about markets, how you think about technology, and how you think about valuation. Walk us through that.
Yeah, I've always had a value tent, being, professional portfolio manager, looking at, at undervalued assets, in traditional asset, mines, that's called Benjamin Graham or Graham Dodd investing, kind of like what Warren Buffett does. Basically, we're trying to find, a dollar's worth of assets for 50 cents. And so when I first started my career, basically we're trying to find, a dollar's worth of assets for 50 cents. And so when I first started my career, I read, all sorts of books from Peter Lynch and, Benjamin Graham and how to be a great investor. And, but when I first got started when I was 22, I really didn't know what I was doing. Fresh out of college from University of Illinois. And, I thought being a stockbroker was a financial management or analyst type job. But after I actually started doing it, I realized it was a sales job. And so I went to one of the most experienced people in our office at the time. We had about 105 brokers in our office. And Leo Sammet, he was around 80 years old, and he had started with AG Edwards 60 years prior. And, he was very successful. So I went into his office and I was like, hey, Leo, I'm new. You're successful. Can you share a few tips with me on how to have a long career in this industry and be successful like you are? And Leo, is kind of funny. I remember this like it was yesterday. He, and this was, I guess 30 years ago? Yeah, 30 years ago this happened. But it's still so fresh in my mind. He looked at me. I mean, it was probably just for like maybe 10 seconds, but it seemed like it was like for at least a minute, like just kind of sizing me up. And I guess in his mind, he was thinking, should I really share the secret of success with this kid? And so he didn't say a word. All he did was he put his hand on a piece of paper and he slid it over to me across his desk. And he goes, just put all your clients in this. And what he slid me was a value line report on a company called Berkshire Hathaway.
Well, hold on. Berkshire Hathaway. Let me turn on the camera. Well, you guys see this because we're not playing with the ego trip. We're giving you the same information that this gentleman gave to him about Berkshire Hathaway. We're telling you where the world is going. We're telling you about the biggest asset that's going to free people financially. Now, Berkshire Hathaway, when he was given the information from a person who's been in the industry 60 years on where to put his money, it was at $8,300 a share. Now, information can be worth $1 million, or information can be nothing depending upon what you do with it. Now, pay attention to what you're going to learn here. Pay attention.
And so this is back in like 1991. Berkshire Hathaway was, it was less than $10,000 a share. I think it was $8,000 or something like that. And he goes, just put all your clients in this. And I looked at him and I was like, my clients aren't going to buy an $8,000 per share stock. don't you have anything that's like $10 or $1, like a penny stock? And, that's what I was thinking in my head, because I didn't know how to value a company. I didn't know the value of, Warren Buffett, who ran the company. I didn't know how to value the free cash flow being generated by the company. I didn't know how to predict that interest rates were going to drop from 10% basically down to zero over the next 30 years, which would increase the value of the company. And so I was just unaware. And so I never bought the stock. And, over the next 30 years, Berkshire Hathaway went from, like I said, around $8,000 up to, over, I think.
Right, now pay attention to this now. $410,850 a share. This man was pushed on a napkin, piece of paper, and told you invest his money like I'm telling you. You got to get in this program with us. Let opportunity pass him by. $8,000 investment for one share of Berkshire Hathaway would be worth $500,000 right now. $410,000 a share. If he had bought $16,000, this man would be at $1 million. Information can be worth $1 million or can be worth nothing, depending upon what you do with it. Now, pay attention now. Listen to him.
Today it's like 410,000 or so, and they've never had a stock split. And so that's where I learned that you don't pay attention to the price. The price isn't what matters. It's the value that matters. And I equate that to Bitcoin today because a lot of people are looking at Bitcoin at $61,000 a coin, and they're like, oh, I don't want to buy it. It's too high. I can't buy a whole Bitcoin. I'd rather buy like Dogecoin at 23 cents, and that just doesn't make sense to me because there's value to Bitcoin. There's really no value to Dogecoin, and so I think what's going to happen is over the long run that people that invest in Doge are going to be hurt, and people that understand how to value Bitcoin will be much better off.
One of the other things that I enjoy about your analysis, about the way you think this through, is your analysis of S-curves. Give us a sense about how you came across S-curves and why they're so important in the way that you form the thesis around technology.
What happened was this guy did not know how to value companies. And then as he got more and more experience, he started using formulas to predict the price change and where future asset class is going to go using S-curves. So now you know how to value a company. You right here with me. Guys, listen, there are times when you want to sit in the room with the 1%ers in the world who are making the financial decisions. You're here now. Now look at the instruments he used to predict the future of asset classes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back in 1988, I had the opportunity to go to Cambridge University and the London School of Economics to do my study abroad my junior year. And when I was at Cambridge, one of the classes I took was about macroeconomics. We were actually in Sir Isaac Newton's classroom. He used to be a professor at Cambridge. And so we learned about S-curves. They're in bubbles, the history of stock market bubbles. And so it's always been important to me to use this information. And I based my entire career on, being able to foresee the next S-curves. So back in the early 1990s, so I graduated college in 1990. When I graduated, only 10% of U.S. households owned a personal computer back then. And by year 2000, it was 90% of households owned a personal computer. But when the personal computer revolution started, it started in the very late 70s, early 80s. And so, in 1980, about 0.1% of households had a personal computer. And so that's what S-curve is. It's the amount of time it takes for a new technology to go from 0% adoption to 10% adoption is the same amount of time it takes it to go from 10% to 90%. So you can go back and look at, shipping companies in the 1400s, railroads in the 1800s, automobile companies in the 1940s and 50s, I mentioned computers in the 80s and 90s. And then, I use this for, the computer S-curve, the internet S-curve, the mobile internet S-curve, which is basically Apple, and then now blockchain S-curves. So Bitcoin was invented in 2009. By 2019, 10% of U.S. households own Bitcoin. And then last year, Brian Brooks, the comptroller of the U.S. currency, mentioned that 15% of U.S. households own Bitcoin. There was a survey that came out earlier this year of 30,000 people that showed 25% of U.S. households own Bitcoin. So we're on this mass adoption, this mega trend of mass adoption of Bitcoin in the United States. And what this tells us, if it took 10 years to go from 0 to 10, then it's going to take 10 more years to go from 10 to 90. So from 2019 to 2029, in 2029, we should hit about 90% adoption of Bitcoin or digital wallets or some sort of crypto assets in our portfolios. And so this megatrend is in place and it's completely unstoppable. And you either get on board or you get run over the next 8 years. And for people that, spend the time to learn what Bitcoin is, I think it would, be a great benefit to them just to take, 20 to 40 hours and devote to this, to understand what this is so that you could participate in this new megatrend.
Yeah, I've always found this chart and this analysis to be fascinating. It reminds me of the joke about Hemingway talking about how you go bankrupt gradually, then suddenly. The idea is that there's this extraordinarily long period of time where a technology kind of kicks around without gaining traction. Early adopters talk about it. People who are in the space talk about it. And it seems like nothing happens. And then suddenly, all at once, it seems like it just goes parabolic. It's everywhere. Everyone's talking about it. And the adoption rate goes, as you say, from 10% to 90%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another analogy is that new technologies are worthless until they're priceless. And they just flip that fast. The internet was worthless. And then all of a sudden it was priceless. We can't live without it. It's going to be the same thing with Bitcoin and blockchain. 10 years ago it was worthless and, it's becoming priceless.
Yeah, it's also interesting because it seems to involve network effects, the value of...
All right, so now let's fast forward. As you know, he learned the lesson because he could have invested $8,300, one share of Berkshire Hathaway, and it would have became $410,000. So he learned about S-curves and other formulas, right, called stock-to-flow analysis that now allows him to predict the future price of asset class. So pay attention to what you're going to hear now, okay? Pay attention to this, guys. This is so important. Listen to this.
Way of thinking about what potential intrinsic value is, something that we touched on before, but this shows kind of a mathematical model for how you correlate the use in terms of the number of wallet addresses and the volume of transactions to the price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one of my favorite models. Yeah, I'm glad Tom Lee came up with it.
So let's keep moving as we walk through this valuation model, or this sort of different slices, different views of the valuation model. You also look at stock-to-flow ratios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's two stock-to-flow ratios that we look at. One is using dollars, and the other one's using...
So let me pause it there. So billionaires don't guess at the future value of assets like Bitcoin. They use formulas called stock-to-flow analysis with the S-curve to determine where the prices is today and where it's going to be tomorrow. And remember, here's a guy who could have got in on Berkshire Hathaway at $8,300. It went to $410,000. Now he's going to show you exactly how he's predicting the future value of Bitcoin. You don't want to miss out on this. That's why we have the Eagle team. We're going to put this Bitcoin in your hand, but you got to invest in yourself. $2,000 can make you $1 million. Share it with one person that you know and keep it going. Here we go.
Gold is the monetary unit. So the one using dollars, and if you're not familiar with stock to flow, you just Google Plan B or 100 trillion USD, and you'll come up with Plan B's website, and you could read through his methodology on how to, the stock to flow model is built. But this model is 95% correlated to the historical price of Bitcoin. So this one's very accurate too.
So we're looking first here at the dollar-denominated stock to flow model, and again, semi-log Y, logarithmic scale on the y-axis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So on the stock to flow model with Plan B, basically stock to flow models are used to value commodities like gold, diamonds, silver, platinum, palladium. And so if you throw Bitcoin into this valuation method, basically what it shows is that gold is the scarcest asset on earth today. It has a stock to flow ratio of 60-1. So the stock is the amount of gold that's ever been mined, that's above ground, that's being stored. And the flow is the amount of new gold that gets mined every year. So it's a 60-1 ratio. Bitcoin's stock to flow ratio is 45-1. And so gold is scarcer than Bitcoin because it's 60-1 divided by is more scarce than 45-1. But after the next halving, Bitcoin halving in 2024, Bitcoin's stock to flow ratio goes to 90-1. And so Bitcoin becomes the scarcest asset on earth in 2024. And so if you look at the total value of gold today, it's worth about 10 trillion. And the total value of Bitcoin is a little bit more than 1 trillion. And if you think about it, if Bitcoin becomes the scarcest asset on earth in 2024, it should be worth more than gold. So to me, that means that Bitcoin should be worth more than $10 trillion in 2024. And that's what this model shows. It just shows it in like a graphical format with dollars. So what this shows is that at the end of this year, Bitcoin should be worth about $100,000. At the end of 2025, it should be worth about $1 million. And the end of 2029 shows that one Bitcoin should be worth about $10 million. And this model is 95% correlated to the historical price of Bitcoin over the past 12 years. So it's very accurate, and it's working as clockwork.
Let's talk a little bit about the distinction between price and value as you construe those two terms.
We talked about like Berkshire Hathaway, and at 8,300, it was, to me, it was overpriced back then 30 years ago. And a lot of people are thinking that Bitcoin is overpriced today because it's $61,000. But if the value of Bitcoin is going to be $10 million in 2029 in 8 years, Bitcoin is really one of the most undervalued assets in the world. And that's the way I look at it. I don't really look at the price of Bitcoin. I look at what the value is. And, and I believe that this model is true. I believe that, one Bitcoin's going to be worth $10 million in 8 years. And, if you're paying less than $10 million of Bitcoin, you're getting a good value. And if you're paying $60,000 of Bitcoin, you're getting a great value. So, one of my goals is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as I can.
Yeah, this is such an important point, I think, foundationally to set up for people who are relatively new to the finance space. This is the idea of unit price versus market cap or total network value. The market cap is equal to the price times the number of units outstanding. Multiply those two together and you get the total market cap. This is a fascinating point because of something that we're seeing right here, right now in 2021, which is sometimes called unit price bias or nominal price illusion.
So you heard it, guys. Bitcoin will be at 10 million a coin by 2029. In case you missed that, let's hear it again. Listen again, guys. I'm just replaying it for a reason because the light bulb gonna come on in some of your head. Listen.
24, it should be worth more than gold. So to me, that means that Bitcoin should be worth more than $10 trillion in 2024. And that's what this model shows. It just shows it in like a graphical format with dollars. So what this shows is that at the end of this year, Bitcoin should be worth about $100,000. At the end of 2025, it should be worth about $1 million. And the end of 2029 shows that one Bitcoin should be worth about $10 million. And this model is 95% correlated to the historical price of Bitcoin over the past 12 years. So it's very accurate, and it's working as clockwork.
Here it is, working like clockwork. You're going to be on the fence and get left behind. You're going to participate in the greatest wealth shift that has ever happened in the history of your life. Today is 2022. By 2025, it's going to be $1 million coin. Out that house in 2024. Then from 2025 to 2029, right? Bitcoin going to go up to $1 million, and then by 2029, 10 million a coin. In 2025, when Bitcoin exceeds the asset class of gold, it's going to grow exponentially. You don't want to miss out on this, guys. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on this. Now, let me go to our program. Show you how you can get there. How you can be involved and really take a little bit of your money and invite people and put them in front of this information I'm sharing with you. And it's history from there. If you ever wanted to create generational wealth for you and your family, this is how you do it with our program. Well, what do you need to do to get started? You get back with the person who shared this video with you. And you say, I want to be a part of this. Now, guys, I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to show you a guy who didn't have no money in Bitcoin last year, but now have made over $1 billion in Bitcoin. He owes over 20,000 Bitcoin. He's a billionaire. That's where they're putting their money at because of inflation. What are you going to do? You keep sitting on the fence, or you're going to do what these billionaires are doing? The man had listened to Berkshire Hathaway at $8,300, $85 a share, $8,300 a share. One share of stock. What if somebody told you that you could go and take out a loan and buy one share of Berkshire Hathaway, and it would go to $410,000? That's not what I'm telling you, because that time has passed. But I'm telling you now, if you get this Bitcoin right now is $22,000 a coin. But if you put $2,000, then you can get as much Bitcoin as you desire, and Bitcoin going to 10 million a coin by 2029. That's 7 years from now, guys. Now, this video is going to be historic because people are going to be playing it all around the world because of this iconic moment where I'm telling you to do what you have to do to get in this program for one person. You come in with $2,000, and as 4 people come in, you share one, they share one, they share the one, it's going to take you to 8,000. You're going to keep 3,000, and you're going to be able to put back in 5,000 to go to tier 2. 4 people going to upgrade, come right behind you for people coming in from your team, right? And then out of you get $20,000, you're going to keep 5,000 and upgrade with 15,000. And then when you upgrade with the 15,000, you're going to get $60,000. You're going to keep 10 right here, $10,000. And then after you keep 10, what's going to happen? You're going to upgrade with $50,000 to go to tier 4. When you go to tier 4, what's going to happen then? You're going to get $200,000. You keep 50,000, you upgrade with what? 150,000. Out of 150,000, 4 people are going to upgrade, you get $600,000. Keep 100,000, and you upgrade 500,000, right? And 4 people are going to upgrade, and you're going to get 4 times 500,000. That's $1 million. That's truly, truly amazing, my people. Truly amazing. So guys, so let me go over the chart one more time. You hear the billionaires tell you where Bitcoin is going. One time out of your pocket, $2,000 to become a member of our team and share one person the way I'm sharing with you tonight. Put this video in front of them. $2,000. Share with one person, they share with another person, they share with one person, and 4 people coming in just like you will get you $8,000. When you get $8,000, you're going to keep 3,000, and you're going to upgrade to tier 2 with 5,000. Now remember, you only put in what? 2,000. Got $1,000 profit. Tier 1. You work one time on tier 1 by introducing people to tier 1. That's your work. And then the system will take care of everything else. Now when you get to tier 2, out of your 5,000 that you put in, you'll get 20,000 because people are going to upgrade from tier 1 to tier 2 just like you. You'll get $5,000.
okay, that you keep for yourself, and you'll take it's gonna be total 20,000. Keep 5 for yourself. You'll upgrade tier 3 with 15,000. Then 4 people gonna upgrade behind you, and you're gonna have 60,000. When you get $60,000, you can keep 10,000. Upgrade tier 4 with 50,000. When you get $50,000 on tier 4, 4 people upgrade just like you from the tier 3 to tier 4, right? With that 50,000, 4 times 50,000 equal 200,000. Out of 200,000, you keep 50,000 of your own money. Now you started with 2,000. Remember that, right? You started with 2,000. On tier 4, you actually got. Now listen to this, guys. I'm gonna show you something that's gonna blow your mind. On tier 4, you started with 2,000, right? You right here on this level alone, you're making an additional $48,000 off return. Now, Bitcoin is $22,000 a coin. I'll show you in a minute, right? So, and remember, each Bitcoin going to how much? 10 million by 2029. Let's go to tier. Let me show you. Let me just show you something, guys. Let me just show you something. So the current price of Bitcoin today, this thing at 23,819. Just on that tier I showed you where you make $50,000, you keep it for yourself. How many Bitcoin can you buy? At least 2 whole ones with that. Each Bitcoin will be how much? By 2029, 10 million apiece. 50,000 will buy you 2 and you have some change left over. That won't take but 46 at today's price. Light bulb coming on? It's a light bulb coming on. Right? 2,000. You get in. On the tier we make 50,000, keep it for yourself, right? Right? You upgrade. You take that money and you go buy yourself 2 Bitcoins, you hold on to it. That's worth to you $20 million by 2029. Nobody else is sharing this like I'm the Bitcoin man. Nobody else is gonna show it to you like this but me. Hold on. So we get that 50,000, go get 2 $23,000 Bitcoins, right? Right? That's your money to keep. That's $20 million right there by 2029. So then that's your money that you keep, right? And you upgrade to 150,000, you go to 600,000. You know how many Bitcoin you can get for 600,000? You'll get $600,000. Now out of 600,000, what you gonna do? You're gonna keep 100,000. Out of the 100,000, look at how many Bitcoin you can get then. Guys, we're leveraging and hedging our money against inflation, just like these billionaires are doing, right? Get to tier 5. Keep your 100,000, divide 100,000 by 23,000, guys. That's 4 Bitcoin you can get right there. 4 Bitcoin worth 10 million a piece. That's oh my God, 10 million times 4. That's $40 million. That's what this information is worth to you right now. That's before we go to tier 5. When you get to tier 5, 4 people can give you $500,000. That's $1 million. Your future is bright. You know how many Bitcoin you can get for $1 million? Let's just go and see. So how many Bitcoin can you get for $1 million? So you put in $1 million. Free the calculator. $1 million. Now that's your money to keep, but you got, again, we're teaching you how to have money grow. It's going to happen for them. The question is, will it happen for you? Okay, you're going to spend that money or you're going to leverage that money, all right? Now, he showed you how with Berkshire Hathaway, he missed the boat. He's not going to miss it with Bitcoin. What about you? Now, you divide 100,000, divide that by 20 what? Let's see, hold on. Divide it by 23,821. 23,821. How many Bitcoin can you get for $1 million? Divided by 23,841. How many Bitcoin you be able to get? That's going to give you 41 Bitcoin times 10 million each by 2029. That's times 10 million each. $10 million each equals 4,194,000,000. Let's get this number right. Let me get this number right. Hold on. That's $419 million. $445,493. If you take $1 million and buy Bitcoin, you have $419 million. No joke, man. I did my job. Now, what I'm going to do for you guys now is take you over and let you watch one more video. Guy named Michael Saylor. He owned, let me show you. He didn't own any Bitcoin years ago, right? Let me show you. Watch this. Let me go to Google right quick. Watch this. How many Bitcoin do Michael Saylor now owns?
According to Forbes, Saylor revealed in October 2020 that he had bought 17,732 bitcoins for an average purchase price of under $10,000 per coin.
Now here's a man that got 17,000 Bitcoin. And I just showed you how to get 41 with $1 million. He's a billionaire. So let's go see this guy and why did he put his money in Bitcoin? Because everything that I'm sharing with you guys is what he knew. All right, now let's go look at this guy. Here's my website, learnwithtearl.com. You can come over here and you can look at this video as many times as you want. Learnwithtearl.com. But this is Michael Saylor, the guy who owned the 17,000 Bitcoin. All right, how many Bitcoin was it? He owned 17,732. Now let's listen to what he got to tell you guys.
A congressional caucus. It's been adopted and regularized, and it's been adopted by the.
When the road calls, we answer.
The SEC and the IRS is property. So you've got crypto asset gold network for the 21st century as a store of value. That's why we adopted it.
And it seems like a no-brainer when you explain it like that. So eloquent. That was awesome. And a couple things you said that were fascinating is like, some people call it like the most successful economic experiment in history, which is something I love because it's like, oh, is it working? Is it not? Bitcoin's a scam. It's like, scam or not, they're moving billions of dollars a day on this network and it's growing. Like they're moving more money than PayPal. Like this is, a huge force in the network. And Square and Cash App to me is one of the most fascinating reasons why I'm bullish, because you have 33 million accounts on Cash App, bring 80% a year. Jack Dorsey loves Bitcoin, is giving every single one of them a tool to buy Bitcoin, an incentive to buy it with one click. He's trying to get out of Visa and MasterCard, taking 2.9% on every transaction, going to build a layer 2 solution. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's so much excitement with the Jack Dorsey Cash App thing. I'm curious if you have any thoughts on that.
I do. Well, first of all, if I put a bank account on a mobile phone like Cash, then I've got free checking.
Hold on. Let's look at why this guy put his money in Bitcoin. Now, I know this is a long video, but this is the education that you need to make a decision to change the future of your family and your family's family for years and hundreds of years to come financially. Let's go look at why this guy put his money in Bitcoin.
Yep, you guessed it. Another talking head ad where somebody's talking about people.
What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode. Today we have a really fascinating discussion lined up about Bitcoin. We have Michael Saylor on the line. Michael, welcome to Hyperchange.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you are going to go down as either one of the most crazy geniuses of all time or just someone that was totally crazy with the recent move you've made by putting a huge amount of your company's cash, instead of holding it as cash, moving it in essentially Bitcoin. And this is following a move that I think Square did that, but you put a huge amount of your cash into it. And I thought this was a fascinating move that is potentially, leading to a very ahead of the curve thing that many, many companies might start doing. And so I'm curious if you could give us a little bit of background on what the company is that you run and how you decided to put a bunch of your cash into Bitcoin.
Sure. Well, I run an enterprise software company. I started it in 1989. I took it public in 1998. We sell business intelligence software to big banks, governments, retailers, organizations everywhere on earth, about 27 different subsidiaries. And, we grow like, it's stable, or we grow 5% a year. It's not like a 20, 40, 50% hyper growth company at this point. It's fairly mature, well run. We generate a lot of cash flow. And when we came into the year 2020, we had like $600 million in cash. and we were generating some cash, and we were saving our money for a rainy day. And we tried to be conservative. We bought back hundreds of millions of dollars of our stock, and we were investing the rest in short-term treasuries. And I remember when short-term treasuries used to yield 5%, and we would have been getting 30, 40 million a year. And it felt like, okay, responsible. And then the Fed just systematically cranked down the interest rates until it got to zero. And then we realized that, well, the cash generates nothing. And then the investors successfully told us they didn't value the cash as anything. Their view was it's just a lump of lead on the balance sheet. And the company it's almost like a liability. Like your cash is a liability. You either need to buy the stock back or give it to us as a dividend to get any credit for it. So we got to March and we thought, well, we have a lot of treasury cash for a rainy day. And then the rainy day came and it was pandemic. And when the pandemic hit, we actually found that everybody wanted the software. The software business is better than ever because we're just selling software to big enterprises and the like. But our costs decreased because now we couldn't do marketing events and we couldn't travel, we couldn't stay in hotels, and we couldn't go on airlines. And so the company went from having a lot of cash and generating a bit of cash to having a lot of cash and generating a lot of cash. And simultaneously, we saw all these financial assets have a V-shaped recovery. And then we saw Main Street have a K-shaped recovery, the famous K-shaped recovery where restaurants and airlines and hotels and amusement parks and theaters don't seem to be coming back. And yet all of these stocks and bonds are shooting through the roof. So on one hand, I realized I have a lot of cash. On the other hand, I realized I was going to generate a lot of cash. And then I realized it was worthless. And I realized it was worthless because the monetary expansion rate went.
He said that cash is worthless. So where you putting your money at? Let me turn the camera. Here's a billionaire that's telling you that having cash is worthless because of the inflation rate. Pay attention to why cash is worthless. Because you guys got to make a decision. See, this is no joke. You've been invited to become an eagle, a private community who are leveraging and hedging money, teach them financially. This is the education that I'm giving you, man. It's not about the money, it's about the education. It's about you setting up perpetual wealth to last your family forever if you take action, just like the guy didn't take action on the $8,300 share of Berkshire Hathaway that went up to $410,000 a share. Guys, I'm telling you where Bitcoin is going. Pay attention. Here we go.
On one hand, I realized I have a lot of cash. On the other hand, I realized I was going to generate a lot of cash. And then I realized it was worthless. And I realized it was worthless because the monetary expansion rate went from about 5% a year to 15% a year. And we actually expanded the money supply by 24% a year in the U.S. this year. So everybody knows about money printing and all the stimulus. Well, I went from not caring to thinking, well, we'll save the cash, get a yield on it, and figure out what to do with it, to realizing that we're going to lose about 15% of our purchasing power every year for the next 4 to 5 years.
Including you, if you keep your money in cash. So I don't care where you get the $2,000 from. You want to turn $2,000 into $10 million? We have a program to do it. Listen, program says $1 million. I'm showing you where to put your money. And why you should take that money that you're getting out of this program, the Eagle team, and where to put it. Like he put his. And just like the other venture capitalists put his. So if you ever wanted to know what millionaires are talking about, this is your chance to find out. At the end, I'll play a video for you. And you got to make a decision about what you're going to do. What's going to tell your grandkids and your great-great-grandkids. Pay attention.
5 years. And so a block of $500 million in cash looks like a melting ice cube. And it felt like highly certain that we were going to lose half of that money in 36 to 48 months if we did nothing. And so we arrived at the Bitcoin investment when we realized that cash is a liability, not an asset.
Cash is what? It's a liability. Wake up, my people.
We have to invest in something that'll beat the cost of capital. The cost of capital is the rate of M2 monetary expansion. It's the rate at which the currency is losing purchasing power. And so if the currency is losing purchasing power at 15% a year, then we're all going to lose half of our wealth in 36 to 48 months.
And this is a key part of the thesis. Yeah, and then I wanted to just dive a little deeper here. So why aren't we seeing inflation of prices go up that much? Maybe we are in equity assets, but I'm curious of like, you know, a lot of people would be like, okay, well, why is there no inflation? But you're saying pricing power goes down 15%. Can you help us break that down a little?
Yeah, because inflation is it's a defective idea. There is inflation. There's inflation in everything that you want to buy. It's just not tracked by the Fed. For example, Hamptons real estate is up 50% in 16 weeks. How is it not inflation when the beach house you wanted in the Hamptons is 40% or 50% more expensive in 3 months? And there's inflation in assets. There's inflation in bonds. There's inflation in stocks. There's inflation in real estate. There's inflation in gold. There's inflation in scarce art. There's inflation in everything scarce. There's inflation in, by the way, the inflation measure that the central bank tracks is a market basket of consumer goods and services that do not include the highly volatile food and energy. By the way, they don't include food, energy, and assets. So you tell me, in what universe do you live in that you can live without food, energy, or assets? If you want to watch streaming Netflix or YouTube videos for the rest of your life, then there's no inflation. So what's going on right now is that the popular media, mainstream media, and the central banks, they're making a lot of noise about no inflation, and they're lamenting the lack of inflation, and that's the excuse to lower the interest rates and print money. But the point is, why in the world would you actually be concerned about the rate of inflation of a market basket of things you don't need? Right? The inflation rate that you should be concerned about is the inflation rate of food, energy, and assets. And if you were to take, say, the inflation rate of bonds, you know, the 10-year bond was yielding 250 basis points about a year and a half ago, and then it was yielding 50 basis points, which meant it went up from $2 million to $10 million in 12 months. So how is that not inflation? It's hyperinflation of assets. Yeah, it's just that people have defined a metric which is meaningless, and so it's inflation is a vector, Galileo. It's not a scalar. It's not one number. I can calculate the inflation rate of assets, food, energy, real estate in the Hamptons, beachfront property in the Florida Gold Coast, or I can calculate the inflation rate of streaming YouTube videos. And streaming YouTube videos are going to have a very low inflation rate. And houses and beachfront property and Picassos are going to have a high inflation rate. And you can have any number you want between minus 10% and plus 30%, depending upon what you want to put in that basket.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I was just kind of playing devil's advocate because I think that's a big thing that the mainstream is missing. And what I call this is the great awakening. That's sort of my millennial word for it. Of everyone's like, wait, why are we holding our assets in cash that is slowly getting diluted, melting like an ice cube, as you put it? And they're like, wait, equity in technologies like Tesla, if interest rates are low, earnings are pushed out for 2 years. That's, you know, a 0.5% yield on my Tesla equity of free cash flow that's growing at 200% a year is better than the 0.5 on the 10-year. So people are saying it's irrational, but I'm like, to me, this is an awakening of people being like, why am I holding fiat currency? The government just pressed a button and gave $1,200 to everybody. It's kind of becoming clearer and clearer, like that expansion of 15 or 20% is real. And I think the $1,200 was sort of like a big domino for that. So I totally agree.
I think that the big challenge every investor, every person on earth has right now, all 7.8 billion people and all $300 trillion worth of investments, their big problem is, where's my store of value? And in a world where if I double the amount of currency, but I keep the assets and the goods and services constant, then that means everything has to go up by a factor of 2, right? So in a world where you're expanding the money supply, it's like expanding dropping the air pressure. As you go up in altitude, the air pressure is dropping, oxygen's falling out of solution, the heat is falling out of the air. You're going to freeze to death or suffocate. It's called adiabatic lapse in aeronautics, but it's like climbing a mountain or going up in an airplane. We're sucking the oxygen out of the room, and the oxygen in the monetary system is monetary energy. So everybody needs to find a store of value, and a lot of people are using Tesla as that store of value because they have more faith in Tesla stock and Tesla than they have faith in the federal government and this, the Federal Reserve and the central banks, because their view is, there's something I can count there. A lot of people are using Apple and Amazon as stores of value. Other people stampeded into gold. That's why gold traded up after March or in the time frame.
And they say people are crazy, but I'm like, I've never held cash. I've always been fully invested in technology equities because I'm like, we're in the era of hyperchange. Tesla's electric propulsion technology has a tremendous value that's increasing every year as they make it better. But I also wanted to step back with MicroStrategy. So you told us the story. You're at this point of like, okay, our cash is melting. We're generating a ton of cash flow from the business. How do you go from like, okay, Bitcoin's something to consider to like actually putting the money in? I'm at like your auditors, your board of directors, they must have been a pain in the ass about this. I'm so curious about like how you actually kind of executed this.
So we've got the 500.
So guys, pay attention to this right here, because this is the key right here. This is why I brought you here. Right? He's telling you, a billionaire is telling you how he went from having $640 million, making 5% annually, putting all that money into Bitcoin, and I own 17,000 of them, which is going to be 10 million a coin. He owns 17,000 of them. Pay attention to what he tells you.
How do you go from like, okay, Bitcoin's something to consider to like actually putting the money in? I'm at like your auditors, your board of directors, they must have been a pain in the ass about this. I'm so curious about like how you actually kind of executed this.
So we've got the 500 million in cash, and then we realize we're going to lose all the money if we do nothing. Like, it's going to be worthless. It's going to, if I take away if I burn 15% of it a year, how many years are you going to wait until you burned it all before you conclude that that's a problem, right? So, and that's very clear. So we've got a problem starting in March that's very obvious. Small problem, and it became a big problem. And so the first thing to do is figure out what to do with it. So we went through real estate and stocks and bonds, but our conclusion is the only bonds that are going to hold value have to yield more than 15% coupon. Otherwise, you have to keep lowering interest rates. So if interest rates aren't going to go negative, then the coupon's not going to cover the inflation loss, and therefore a bond won't hold value. With real estate, it's the same issue. How are you going to grow your rents faster than 15%? Not easy. So then you go to stocks. So which stocks? Well, you better find, you better buy a super high growth, like Tesla, Amazon. It has to be some on fire, big tech, massive, screaming growth company, because otherwise you can't stay ahead of the 15% hurdle rate. So that's why Tesla kind of works. That's why all of the, the other stocks, they sort of start to drift up, but over the next 5 years, unless you believe the company can grow its cash flows greater than 15% a year, it's going to fall behind and it won't hold value. So then you go to scarce assets that aren't correlated to cash flows of US dollar currency. So that gets you to gold or silver. Well, the problem with gold is that gold miners produce 2% more gold every year. So there's a built-in 2% inflation rate in gold. And then it's centralized, it's corruptible, and you can print more gold derivatives, and that drives the price down. And ultimately, the big problem with gold is if the price of gold goes up by a factor of 10, the gold miners and the derivatives producers are going to create more gold, and that's going to keep a cap on the price. So how do I find something which is ultimately scarce that feels like gold that you can't create any more of? And that's where you find a crypto. And if you basically designed a crypto network that was 21 million gold coins and you couldn't produce any more, and then you could audit it every 10 minutes, and then if you convinced $350 billion worth of money to buy into that network, you would have Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, in essence, becomes the first digital monetary network. It's the Facebook of money, because it's, on one hand, it's a synthetic safe haven asset. It's like pharmaceutical grade gold. It's like all the gold, none of the hangover, all the good parts of gold, but none of the bad problems with gold. And it's sitting on a big tech network like Facebook or Google, and you can plug into it. Like, no one's ever going to plug gold into an iPhone. You're not going to like punch a button and buy 10 bars of gold on the iPhone. But PayPal and Square have plugged Bitcoin into the iPhone. So Bitcoin is programmable synthetic gold. And if you're trying to find something that is scarce that's going to float on the pool of liquidity as the Federal Reserve and the EU Central Bank print more money, then Bitcoin is that something, because you can't make any more of it. You can program it. And then, by the way, the answer is a crypto asset network. The issue is, why not one of the other 10,000? Will it be copied? Will it be banned? Or will it be hacked? And Bitcoin is at the point where it hasn't been hacked in 12 years. It's been copied 10,000 times, but it's the winner. So you pick, it's like not Friendster, it's not MySpace, it's not Yahoo or AOL, it's the Facebook or the Google. You got to pick the winner. Once something is hundreds of billions of dollars and 20 times bigger than the next like-kind thing, then it's the winner. And it's clear it's not going to be banned. It's built into PayPal and Square. There's a senator, there's a congressional caucus. It's been adopted and regularized, and it's been adopted by the SEC and the IRS as property. So you've got crypto asset gold network for the 21st century as a store of value. That's why we adopted it.
That's it. What you gonna do? Now, I'm gonna share one more video with you. I'm gonna ask you a question, but you're gonna become an equal, because it's gonna happen without you, right? So pay attention to this question, and then I want to answer for you. So there's a guy named Dan Pena. He's a billionaire. Let me go to Google so you'll see who this guy is, and he's gonna ask you a question, and you gotta answer. You gotta answer, because this depends on your future wealth for your family, generations to come, with this question. But watch who's answering the question, who's asking the question, because you are participating in the greatest wealth shift in the history of the world. These billionaires are doing it. I put you in front of billionaires, the 1%ers who's moving their money from cash and putting it in hedging and leveraging and hedging in the crypto. This video is worth $100 million to you if you take action. Hold on. Okay, now pay attention to this, guys. Right. Who is Dan Pena?
According to Wikipedia, Daniel Stephen Pena Sr. is an American businessman.
All right. What is the net worth of Dan Pena? Article right here says that Dan Pena net worth is $600 million in 2022. Dan Pena is the founder of Quantumly Advantage Method. Let me just go here. Now he's going to ask you a question. Dan Pena is estimated to be worth $600 million. Dan Pena is the founder of Quantumly Advantage Method, of chairman of the Guthrie Group. In addition, he is also the founder, CEO, and chairman of Great Western Resources. He has made a fortune from his business ventures. Today, his main source of income is his seminars and coaching. So billionaires come and take this guy's seminar, and when their businesses are sinking, he tells them exactly which direction to go, right? After serving in the U.S. military, Dan Pena became began his business career as a financial analyst on Wall Street. Soon after, he founded Great Western Resources Corporation and became the president of a Houston-based oil company. In less than a decade, he grew his company from a $820 startup to $450 million powerhouse. The company was listed on the London Stock Exchange in 1994. It says right here, since 1993, Dan Pena has been teaching business philosophy courses under the name of Quantum Leap. The courses mainly take place at Guthrie Castle, which is a castle that he owned. The seminars are limited to 24 people, and the price ranges anywhere from $18,000 to $20,000 per person just to get in front of this guy. It is reported that he has earned over $50 billion for his clients and students. To calculate the net worth of Dan Pena, subtract all his liabilities from his total assets, investment, savings, and cash deposits, and any equity he has in house, car, or other similar assets included in total assets. All his debts, such as student loans and credits, are included in the total liabilities. So now I'm going to take you over to him and let him ask you a question. So guys, I put you in front of 3 billionaires. This guy, let's look again. Dan Pena has earned, right here, it says right here, over $50 billion from his clients and his students. $50 billion. So I put you in front of 3 billionaires today. Now listen to the question that he's going to ask you.
Money is free right now. We're at the lowest interest rates in 5,000 years. What are you going to tell your grandchildren? What are you going to tell your children 20, 25 years from now? What did you do, Grandpa? What did you do, Grandma, during the greatest transformation of motherfucking wealth in the history of the world? What did you do? Other than sit on your fucking hand. Money is free right now.
No. Did you hear the question? Guys, this is no joke. We got something that can free. Money is free right now. Anything can take $2,000 and make $1 million, and I've shown you how to invest that money in Bitcoin to make, God knows, $419 million. I don't know what else to do. Get back with the person who shared this video and say, I want in. I don't care what you got to go do. Sell a kidney. Rent one. Whatever you have to do, get in this program and let's roll. Get back with the person who shared the video with you. Now, if you want to be on my team, call me at 919-530-8022 or get back with the person who shared the video with you, because I made this video for my teammates, right? Right? And remember this as you sleep tonight. Remember this as you sleep tonight, what Dan Pena said, right? Listen to what Dan Pena said again.
Now, we're at the lowest interest rates in 5,000 years. What are you going to tell your grandchildren? What are you going to tell your children 20, 25 years from now? What did you do, Grandpa? What did you do, Grandma, during the greatest transformation of motherfucking wealth in the history of the world? What did you do? Other than sit on your fucking hand. Money is free right now.
All right, so that's it, guys. That's it. Hold on.
We're at the lowest interest rates in 5.
Hold on. Man said that money is free because he understands. He understands exactly what I explained to you tonight, what the other billionaires explained to you. Time is going to pass. The question is, are you going to build wealth for you and your family, or are you going to sit on your hands and do nothing? And your grandkids can ask you one day, what did you do during the greatest wealth shift in the history of the world? Get back with the person who shared the video with you, right? If somebody shared this with you, join them, don't join me. But if I'm sending this to you, you can call me at 919-530-8022, and let's change the future of our families together. Thank you. Get back with the person who shared this video with you. Thank you. Get back with the person who shared this video with you and ask them how to get started. We have conference calls right now, and we will keep you informed of the time schedule. Right now, our schedule is at 10 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Eastern, and 9 o'clock Eastern. So come to one of the conference calls at that time. All right. And I can get the phone number for you. Hold on. Get back with the person who shared this video with you and get the conference call number, get plugged in, and let's make this money. Thank you, guys.